I got my team and it's all I need.
What's going on, everyone? We have another episode of Game Time Excellence where we're talking about your mission, your mindset, mastery, and maintenance. Today we have a special guest, a brother from another mother. Man, my light-skinned brother, my actual brother, man, we been through a lot. He came to the better school in the Big 12 his red shirt senior year, and we actually played in the NFL together on the same team, which was pretty cool. His name is Tyler Patmon, and for the people that don't know who you are, that should know who you are, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Like you said, name's Tyler Patmon. I did, like Shamil said, went to Kansas University, was able to transfer to Oklahoma State my redshirt senior year, ended up going undrafted in the NFL, went to the Cowboys on a 3-day tryout, made the Cowboys, turned that into a 5-year NFL career, man. And now I'm kind of making the transition into coaching / real estate, and trying to make my next step in life. So.
Right. And the cool thing, man, I met, he was on this recruiting trip. I can't, in the spring or something like that. I don't know if it was actually a recruiting trip. He was just like visiting the school, and we got a chance to chop it up. But after talking to you one time, I already knew, like, man, we're gonna be boys. And his work ethic is something that not too many people have. Is his drive. That's why he's able to turn a tryout into a 5-year career. A lot of people quit after that tryout or after being released one time. You know what I mean? And you kept like pushing. So it's so cool. So growing up, I believe everyone needs like a mission. You need like a strong why on like what you're doing to keep you going. So what was your mission when you were younger?
My mission, man, ever since I was younger, has always been that I was going to take care of my grandma. Okay. That was always my driving force even as a little kid. Me and my grandma still laugh about it to this day. I used to tell her, I'm gonna buy her the city. She was in a little small town in Oklahoma called Crescent, Oklahoma. And I always used to tell her, I'm gonna buy Crescent for you. And just family and that sense of taking care of them and providing for them, that's always been my driving force and my why. And then along with that, as I got older, man, just being a competitor and not wanting to lose, also stepped in there and became the driving force. So, I was that kid that when I lost, I cried. So, that was also a big motivation for me.
Right, man. Y'all don't want to play. He's calmed down now, but y'all don't want to play Pat in anything, man.
I take it personal, man. I take it personal. Anything we do.
Right. And I've had some other guests on, and I'm close to them, but like me and Pat, that's like my guy, and we played. Funny stories of back in college, we were playing 2K, and we had we had a little bet going with like 5 of us, and Pat got dubbed. He lost. He kept her arguing like he won, and it's like it was too much. You know what I'm saying? But,
too much.
But I think that's what like drove him to that's what drove you to be where you are now, is you're competitive, So how'd you get that mindset?
I think it was just part of me. It's just something that ever since I was a little kid, everybody knew me as that like fiery, ready to go kid that might fight at any notice, any situation. Right. So it's just, that was kind of my mentality. That was kind of my, I don't want to say my upbringing because I was still being brought up, but it was kind of something that was my natural instinct, was to be that competitor, was to be that fighter, to be, to go all out on what I'm doing. Right. So I see it as just one of my gifts God's blessed me with.
Right. And, we've all been through like some type of adversity, And what was your mindset? You went from high school, you got a Division I scholarship to the University of Kansas, and I talk crap on Kansas, but Kansas was actually pretty good when you went there.
Right.
And that's when they had, was it the Orange Bowl the year before?
Yeah, they won the Orange Bowl and then the Inside Bowl, so it was pretty good years rolling at Kansas around that time.
Yeah, so he thought he was going into a good school.
Yeah, man, that was just tough situation.
So how'd your mindset help you? I know we're gonna talk about this in a little bit, but how'd your mindset help you going into Kansas?
It's just, I never had a problem of like restarting. Like you said, it kind of helped me with my career in the NFL, like always having to prove myself. I was never afraid of proving myself. So going from high school to back to the bottom of the totem pole at a university, man, it was never hard for me. I was always used to hard work. I was always used to trying to make myself better. So when I went to college and I wasn't the best player there, I wasn't the best corner. It was nothing for me to stay in the weight room extra hours, on the field extra hours, and continue to improve my ability and improve myself to the coaches.
Right. No, that's key though. Being a self-starter, you know what I mean? That's so key.
Facts.
And so, how'd you deal with like some of the self-doubt? Did you ever have like some self-doubt? Like, man, do I really belong here? Can I really compete in the Big 12? Like, do you ever have those thoughts run through your mind?
Yeah, man, it was, coming out of high school, I was real confident in my ability. And when I got to Kansas, I was playing at a really high level, but I was still kind of small in frame. I would still make some mental mistakes that a young guy is going to make.
Right.
And Coach Mangino, he could tell that, he could tell that I probably needed a redshirt year just to get right mentally in the game, right? And that didn't hurt my confidence, and my questioning and my ability didn't come until I got hurt my redshirt sophomore year. My redshirt freshman year, I had a great year. Was like ranked 20th in passes defended in the nation. And coming into my sophomore year, I tore my groin completely off the bone. And as a kid in college, especially one like me, I'm fiery. I want to play. I'm so competitive. I kind of rushed myself back out there, and I wasn't 100%, and I could feel it in my body, and I could feel it just in the way I moved, and I kind of started changing the way I played to cater around that injury, and I started up giving up passes I usually don't, playing a certain way I usually don't, and I think it created some mental doubt in my head. You know what I mean? And that was something I had to continue to fight for some years to come, because when you start playing a certain way, you start trying to adapt to things around you, you start to question yourself. So, that was the first real, like, okay, I need to sit down and address this, what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
And, man, that's such a big part of the game that a lot of people don't talk about, that they don't tap into. The mental aspect, man, and the part of dealing with the doubts in your head. And there's some people that are the complete opposite, where they're so oblivious to what they're bad at. They have so much confidence, they're so arrogant that they don't see what they need to work on. So man, that's such a big, that mental part is such a big aspect that a lot of people don't talk about.
No, I definitely agree, especially young athletes, especially business owners. Like if you think about Blockbuster, like they had an opportunity to actually work with Netflix, but they chose not to. They didn't see what was coming. Now, you don't see no Blockbuster around. And so especially for the young athletes, the mental game is so important. For entrepreneurs, business owners, the mental game is so key. And so how did you build it back up though? You know what I mean? Now you're at this place of doubt, you're adapting your game, you're not playing, you're not truly being who T-Pad is. So how did you build it back up to get back to who you are?
I mean, man, just having that mindset of never stopping, never letting nothing defeat me. I was always, like you said, I was always that hard worker that was going to work regardless. So, man, I'm a firm believer in God and my foundation. So, it's just that belief having that belief system, man, and having that grind mode that eventually, you know, once you do that, I feel like it'll eventually come back to you. As long as you have that, if you're in a place of doubt and you continue to work, you know, and continue to fight against it, eventually, man, you're gonna come out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's easy to be all confident and in great place when you're doing good, you know, man. But you know, the great players, the great business owners, the great entrepreneurs, man, are the people that continue to grind even when they're in a down phase or a doubting phase, or you know, something that adversity hits. You know, who are you when adversity hits? So just that mindset, man. Continue to go and continue to believe what you've been blessed with. Continue to fight off that doubt from voices from the outside or even voices within. You know what I mean? You have to continue to speak that positivity in your life every day, every minute, every second. So
yeah, no, that's key right there, man. And so you get injured, you finish out, you do your 4 years at KU, right?
Right.
Then you go to Oklahoma State. When we should have won the Cotton Bowl, they cheated us. You had a good game too, man. You had a nice little pick. It's not a pick.
Called it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now it's time to go to the NFL. You know, you don't get drafted. You don't get the preferred undrafted free agent. You have to try out. So now it's time to really test your mental fortitude. You know, how did you deal with that situation?
Again, man, I've always been the person, like I've told other people, it's a gift and a curse, that I've always been the person where, you know, I would believe in something and you couldn't tell me different in regards to like football or my ability. Right. I believe I'm good enough and I know I'm good enough. You know what I mean? Even when that doubt started creeping in, I'd always continue to tell myself that, right? So when I went to a situation like that in Dallas, I'm like, I know my ability. I'm just going to go out here and play. You know what I mean? And when I released that and just went out there and played, man, that's when my true ability started to show, right? When that doubt starts to creep in, you can tell the change in your game. You start to play different, right? You start to move different. You start to question some of the plays that you know are coming, right? But you don't act on it. You know, man. So just being able to continue to push forward, and also having somebody that was actually behind me, man. I had the great opportunity of having a coach there, Coach Jerome Henderson, that actually believed in me. And he could see my ability, you know what I mean? And that's kind of, a lot of kids don't get that in the NFL, maybe even high school or college. Even in a business, man, you might have a boss that truly believes in you. But when you have somebody that believes in you, man, and speaks positivity into you, it helps. You know what I mean? It definitely makes a difference. And having that guy on my side and having him continue to speak that positivity into me when some other people was trying to speak negative into me, man, it made a difference also.
Right. So would you say that was like the change for you, like as far as being able to let go and just play free?
That was part of it for sure. You know, I always speak on your circle, right? Like a lot of times we get into those bouts with ourselves. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can't see everything you need to see within yourself. Sometimes you need people outside of you telling you, hey, you need to work on this. You need to focus on this. Hey, you're doing a good job at this. Keep doing it. And just having somebody in my circle at that stage really helped me to rebuild my confidence and, you know, remind myself, hey, along with making plays, you know what I mean? You can't have somebody speak a positive into you and you're not making no plays and you just walking around oblivious of what's really going on. But with those two paired together, man, it was definitely a great time in my career.
That's awesome because, man, it's so, you know, I talk about this sometimes as far as, you know, as a leader, you know, it's so important to not put a glass ceiling on your player or on your employee or whatever it is, because once you do that, you limit their potential. But if you inspire them and motivate them to do more, man, you're gonna receive so much out of them. You know what I mean? Because they want to play for you. They want to work hard for you. Man, they're willing to take a bullet for you because they know you believe in them. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've definitely heard that many times, man. It's just putting people in position where, you know, like you said, the sky's the limit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Who wants to work for a guy that, you know, doesn't want the next person under them to succeed or to take that next step, you know, in their career, man. So when you just give somebody a role and be like, hey, you're in charge of this, or, you know, you're in charge. I want you to be the best at this. It really sparks people. You know what I'm saying? It motivates people when you tell people, hey, you know, in 5 years, I want you to take my role. Right. Something like that. You know what I mean? It's just working for those people, man, and having that positive influence in whatever you're doing, period. You know what I mean? It definitely helps people for sure.
Yeah. And so now you with the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, you know, all that good stuff. You with Jason Witten, Tony Romo, and Dez, and was DeMarco Murray there during that time?
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray. So y'all had a team. And so, man, me and you both, we've been on some winning teams, we've been on some losing teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what's the difference between that winning team and that losing team? What's the difference?
I think it's kind of unity and belief. Confidence and swagger also. I mean, when you go out there and compete and see those guys competing every day, and we're competing against each other, and, you know what I mean, guys are talking mess and we're going back and forth, you just see the belief in everybody's ability, you know, in the building. Everybody walks around with a certain confidence. There's not a lot of arguing. There's not a lot of bickering. You know, everybody knows the goal. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what the vision is, and everybody's working, you know, their best to get there. You know what I mean? So as a team, man, you know, it's always one dream as a team. But it's different, man, when everybody takes control of their role. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I know my job is, when I was there my rookie year, my job is to come in on third downs and stop the fourth best receiver. You know what I mean? Or the running back coming out the backfield. That was my job. And I took full control of my job, you know, and I took pride in my job. So when everybody takes pride in their role, takes pride in their job, man, and comes together as a unit, it's a beautiful thing.
No, that's dope, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
Because, like, were you on a team with the Dolphins where I don't know how many games we won, but we didn't win too many games. You know, Sue came into not the locker room, but he had the meeting and he's talking about, you know, this is the plays we're gonna run and all that. Were you on that team? Oh, it was a whole fiasco. You know, and so on losing teams, man, you see the complete opposite. Communication is terrible. Nobody's buying into the system. There's a lack of leadership. You know, it's all about me, and instead of like a team. You know what I mean? And even like a play call, like there's lack of confidence in like the play call. You're like, why are you calling this play at this time? You know?
Right. No, 100%. Yeah.
And so, as far as like you though, like what have you seen from losing teams on your end? Like what's like 3 traits of a losing team?
One, kind of like you said, is I said there's a difference between everybody trying to be their best and everybody competing against each other. But it's a difference when you try to like step on each other's toes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, who's really the best on defense? Is it the D-line or the secondary? You know, we arguing about that, or, you know what I mean, who's the best linebacker? Who, like, it comes a certain point where it's too much. You know what I mean? And when you get things like that in the locker room and distractions like that, that unity goes away. Another thing, man, would be, like you said, just distrust. Distrust in, you know, me as a corner, distrusting my safety, not knowing if he's going to be there, if I can trust him. You know what I mean? Distrusting my coach. Is he teaching me the right technique, or you know, is he making the right play calls? It's a lot of distrust in the building. A lot of he say, she say, you know what I mean, and people doubting what's being told as a team, as a one goal, as a unity. One other trait, man. Let me think. Let me think about something that happened in college instead of just the NFL. I knew at Kansas, it wasn't. I feel like there wasn't a buy-in system.
Right.
Everybody wasn't bought in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like you said, it can create a lot of gossip, a lot of talking, negative talk towards each other, and
right.
When everybody's not bought in, man, it takes one bad apple, and it starts to spread. So making sure everybody's bought in, man. If everybody's not bought in, man, it can really start to take an effect on the team.
Right. That's 100%. And so you were at Dallas, you know what I mean, living the life, man. I got a chance to go to your apartment and experience the big TV, the pool.
It's crazy.
No, hey, y'all should see his house now. You know what I mean? No,
oh, there you go.
But hey, his house big, but
ain't that big.
No, but and he has this is random right here, but he has a dog. I'm glad he put his dog in the
dog, man,
in the closet. The dog snores. Okay,
it's my son, man.
Another fun fact too about my he's engaged. He's engaged to my friend, his fiance. We all went to the same college.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, this is way off topic. The funny thing is, me and T-Fat were texting one day, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna get her." I'm like, "All right."
That was crazy, bro.
And then about 4 years later,
man,
he's about to get married to her. So,
man,
you really want something. Speaking into existence.
Hey, there you go.
And then you got it.
There you go.
So you go from Dallas, and then you go on the journey of most people in the NFL. You get released, and then you go to, don't tell me, Kansas City, or where'd you go after Dallas?
No, I went to Miami first.
You went to Miami first. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yep. And after Miami, how was that journey after that?
Man, that journey was crazy, in the thing that it happened all in 1 year.
Right.
Like when most people come to the NFL, they go to different teams, and then they might find a team they stick with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mine was kind of like reverse. It was crazy. I did 2 years with Dallas, got released. I went to Miami. Miami brought in new coaches. That didn't work. Oh. And I got released from Miami, got picked up with the Titans with about a week left in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that didn't work. Didn't get no snaps.
Right,
you know what I mean? Got released by them.
Yep.
Had some tryouts, some workouts. Got signed by Kansas City.
Yep.
I was at Kansas City. I was there for like 2 weeks. They released me on Sunday, signed me back on Monday. Got released again that same week. Sat out a whole week, stayed in Kansas City by myself at a hotel for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then got re-signed by them on Sunday.
Wow.
And then they released me again on Monday.
Right.
And then the next week, Carolina picked me up.
Right.
I finished out that year. This was all in 1 year. I finished out that year with Carolina, like the last month of December.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina went through the draft. They drafted a guy that was kind of similar to me, size-wise and body type-wise, nickel type guy. They released me. I went home for about a month, I think, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Got a workout with Jacksonville. Ended up signing with Jacksonville and made another 2 years in Jacksonville, man. So that year in itself, man, was crazy. You talk about that doubt and that insecurity and that, wondering what's going to happen next. That was at an all-time high, man. So
right. And so how'd you deal with, man, transition is one of the hardest things in the world, just because as humans, we love comfort, That's why we love routines, because we want to know what's happening next, But with transition, it's a level of uncomfortability, because you don't know what's going to happen next. Like you're unsure about the unknown. And so for you, how did you deal with transition from team to team to team with, and team, release team, you know what I mean? Like, then How do you plan on making that happen with your transition now?
Man, it's just about. I think a lot of it is just humbling yourself, taking away that pride. Realizing that you're never too big for any role, right? And there's no problem with that. It's no problem of restarting at the bottom. It's just part of the cycle of life, right? Just going up top. If you want to make a transition into another career or another position, or you have to transition into another team or another field, man, you got to really humble yourself, right? You got to go back to the bottom and continue to work your way back up, and just continuing to have that confidence in myself again. Just knowing my ability, and knowing that it takes one team. You know what I mean? It takes one opportunity, one situation for my chance to reach a higher level. It can come at any time, right? So just knowing that, man, and continuing to trust my ability, trust God, and knowing that I have that ability to make it at a higher level, man, was always my driving force then. Right. And then just making the transition now, man, like I said, just taking that confidence, taking that pride out of my head, and realizing that I'm making a transition into a field I know nothing about, especially like doing real estate. I was able to say, man, okay, listen, I know nothing about real estate. This is not football, which I spent 20 plus years doing my whole life. I'm an expert in football, right? But when it comes to real estate, I'm a baby. So I said, all right, I need to humble myself. I got under somebody that took me under their wing, man, and I was able to soak in everything that they were telling me, and really, really just humble my mind and be able to say, okay, I'm back at the bottom of the totem pole. Let's work to get myself back at the top. Right.
And I think that's so key. You said something that was very impactful. As far as when it comes to we talk about mission, mindset. When it comes to mastering your skills, regardless if it's real estate, doctor, football, whatever it is, you said you wanted to get under someone so you could learn. Did you take that same approach in the NFL as well? To master like the fundamentals, or how'd you approach mastering like the skills of real estate and football?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because I was an extremely smart football player. That was one of my strengths, and it was a hindering to me, and it was a strength to me at the same time, because I was always a guy that knew what I messed up on. Knew what I needed to work on. And at some points in my football career, I didn't like to listen to people because I felt like I already knew what I messed up on. You know what I mean? And, I always wanted to grow as a player. And sometimes that hurt me where I didn't truly humble myself and be like, okay, let me hear first what this man has to say. And then add my own input, right? Sometimes I try to address it myself. But at the same time, man, in the NFL, that's such a huge deal, to have guys around you that can help you and critique you, that you trust. And a lot of times players don't get that in the NFL. It's not a lot of times you guys are so competitive, so competing, that they don't want to help you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Guys don't want to help you grow better because they don't want you to take their job. Man, but that's a different story, man. But I definitely took the approach when I was making the transition into real estate. Just knowing that the guy, Jeremiah Hatch, was somebody that I could trust. And I knew that, he wasn't trying to take advantage of me, or, he was going to help me succeed in any way he possibly can for my own benefit, not for his. And that was something I could trust, man. So it was easy for me to release that to him, to be vulnerable with him, and say, hey, as a man, I don't know anything about this. You know what I mean? And when you get around people you can trust, man, it just becomes so much easier. And I wouldn't be just vulnerable with anybody. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So having somebody I could trust, man, made it way easier for sure.
No, for sure, man. If you guys don't know T-Pat, man, T-Pat's protective of his
circle. That circle, man.
And so, finding someone you can trust, finding someone you can get under. What is another way, like as far as like in the NFL then, that you tried to master? Like, how did you master your skills? How did you go about that process right there?
Well, one thing, like you said, like I told you, like I had that coach that I did trust. So that was a guy that I did listen to. The DC was also a very smart guy that been in the league for a long time. Rob Marinelli, like Chicago Bears, you know, I mean, classic. He's just a older, smarter guy, right? And those are people that I trusted and I listened to that critiqued my game. You know what I mean? Another way, man, was just, you know, critiquing myself. You know what I mean? You have to look at yourself and be able to tell, you know, what you need to work on or what your negatives are and what your positives are. You know what I mean? So as a player, you know what I mean, I knew I didn't have top speed. You know, that was something that I always continued to work on.
My 40 is faster than T-Pat.
There you go, that line.
I ran a faster 40 than T-Pat.
I was coming off a knee, man. But no, man, it's just knowing myself. You know what I mean? Knowing what I was good at, knowing what I need to work on. And I made sure that at times when I had the time to work on extra, I was doing that. You know what I mean? I was always putting in the time to work out my weaknesses. You know what I mean? And like really doing it in real estate. I know I don't know that much knowledge. You know what I mean? So I put somebody around me that knows that knowledge, right? Or I'll put somebody around me that knows the city better than me. I mean, so it's just that approach as, you know, as a player, as a boss, as anybody. You know what I mean? If I'm running a company and I know I'm not good at communication, I'm gonna get somebody around me that is great at communication and can help me with that. Not to saying that I'm not going to continue to grow in my communication or work on my communication, but I'm gonna put people around me that helps me grow in that area for sure.
No, for sure, and that's so cool that you said critique yourself, so self-feedback, and then make sure you're utilizing your time and you're spending your time working on those weaknesses, so you can continue to grow. Right. Okay. And so now, you know, I mean, my man's, he's about to get married. You got a dog that's snoring. You know, you're about to have a family, all that stuff. I mean, she's not pregnant, but so, you know, I think it's so important to like have a certain level of balance. You know what I mean? But it's kind of hard to keep balance and everything, but you have to make sure everything's in the green. You know what I mean? I had a friend that told me, you know, make sure your fitness, your family, your faith, and your finances are all in the green, because if you neglect one of them, it's going to hurt the other three, you know? And so what I say is like maintenance. You know, you have to keep yourself healthy physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And so how do you do that now? You know, how do you keep yourself healthy in those areas?
Man, it's just that time, that schedule, really just that self-evaluation again. You know what I mean? Where am I lacking? Where do I need to spend more time? And then also like the people around you, like this circle is so big to me, man, that there's things happening in your life that you can't see just because you're so up and close and personal with it. You can't tell what's really going on, but somebody from the outside can see it clearly. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it might be times where, you know what I mean, I know one of my friends and I can tell what he's doing. I know he's not spending the time like he needs to be spending the time with the Lord or something like that. And I can see it. He might not be able to tell because he's so busy. He's so active right now. So just me being a person in his circle, I can be like, hey, man, look, I can tell you're not doing what you need to be doing, and I can correct that, right? So just having those people around me, man, keeping it being on a schedule is something that a routine, bro, is you can't beat it. You know what I mean? When you up at a certain time and you're going to sleep at a certain time and you have a set schedule, that's when everything is rolling. You know what I mean? Like in the time I'm in right now, when I don't technically have a job, you know what I mean? I go to sleep when I want to. I wake up when I want to. That's when I really have to like, hey, man, like check myself. You know what I mean? It's easy when you have that routine, man. So creating that routine for yourself, man, creating that rhythm is huge, and making
Right.
sure that you're doing what you need to be doing and having that circle.
Right. Great. That rhythm is key.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, last thoughts right here. You know, what is something, you know, you want people to know about you? You know what I mean? If it's, I thought about it like this. You know, you can have all the money in the world, but when it's all said and done, when you die, you know, people won't remember that. People will remember how you treated them. People will remember, you know, what you did for them, like your character. So, what is something you want people to remember you
I want people to remember that I was a man of God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you know, despite everything that I might have went through, the goods, the bads, the ups and downs, I was always a man that, you know, put my faith in God. That I was always trying to create disciples. That I was always looking out for people, trying to help people, trying to be a true servant, right? And that's what being a follower of Christ is all about. So being that servant, man, just being here to help others and not so focused on myself, man, is what I really want to be remembered for. So.
Okay, nice. Is that I'm sorry, you my guy? Is that Tiffany sneezing?
Yeah, she loud, man. My fault.
Good Lord. So, real quick before I get to my last question, you know, people we'll have Tiffany on sometime, but you know, y'all gotta have some athletic kids. And Tiffany was a hooper at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
She went to the WNBA. She plays for the international team.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still don't believe she's Thailand or whatever. Whatever. I don't know what that is, you know. But so what is 3 actionable items? So I'm gonna do a little different than I did with my other guests. So because I know you're big with the athletes, the student athletes, right? With the youth. So what is 3 action items for the young athlete that they can do today or tomorrow that can help them get better on the field and off the field?
One thing that can help them get better off the field was definitely, I mean, for me, I always believe in reading the word, you know what I mean? And I think the Bible always gives you a story or a situation that relates just to what you're going through in life. You know, it's exactly the same if you truly sit down and read it. And I always encourage kids that, you know, haven't spent much time in the word or don't really know God like that. I always encourage them to start in Proverbs, because I feel like Proverbs is just like a step-by-step, like rules. Like, hey, if you encounter this situation, this is what you should do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing. On the field, I would say, man, just work. And first go to your coach and say, hey, coach, you know, what do you think I should focus on in order to grow as a player? What do I need to focus on as my weaknesses? And ask multiple people and see what they say. You know, people you trust, and people that have your best interests at heart, right? And see what they say. And then when you get the answer, focus on it, work on it, master it. Like you said, mastering your craft, mastering not only what you're bad at, but what you're good at. You know what I mean? It takes a balance of trying to grow in one area while also not letting what you're good at go to waste. Last thing, man, have fun, bro. Enjoy the moment.
Right.
You know, don't get so caught up in, I gotta make it to the NFL. I gotta, you know, that you let the time pass you by. You know, all older people will say, hey, I wish I could be a kid again. And it's for a reason, man. It's a lot of moments that we wish we didn't let just rush by, that we didn't enjoy. So enjoy those moments, man. Take advantage of every opportunity to spend with your family, your friends, playing ball, man. It doesn't last forever. So truly soak up every moment that you're in it.
Right. No, I definitely believe that, man, because, you know, Marquay, he always said football is a temp job. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I remember times when I was in the league, I was in Miami, and I never went to, you know, to some of the islands that was like pretty close to Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was so focused on I gotta do this.
Gotta grind.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I look back at it, and I'm like, man, that's kind of a wasted opportunity in a way, because 2 days out of that entire year wouldn't have killed me, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so the advice that you just gave, that's for everyone though too. On the flip end, man, read the word, man. Get connected to your faith. And then second, work. Ask people around you. Get some criticism. You know what I mean? Because you know, I ask you sometimes. I haven't asked in a long time, but you know, what can I do to be a better friend? You know? Same thing. If you're a boss, man, ask your employees. Like, hey, you might not like what they have to say, but ask them. You know, what can I do to be a better leader? What can I do to be? What can I do to serve you? You know,
right.
And then the last thing you said was have fun, enjoy the moment. You know,
right.
How many times do you don't enjoy your family because you're so caught up in like getting to the next goal, to the making the next amount of money, or you know, whatever it is. So I think that's so powerful, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So do you have any like final thoughts you want to share with the audience, or?
Man, we pretty much hit on a lot of stuff, man. Just realize what's most important. At the end of the day, you know, all that money, power, you know, fame, success in your career, all of it will be gone at one point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who is around you? What's most important around you, right? Your family, your faith, you know, your friends. Make sure you're spending time with them, man. Make sure you're putting them first. Make sure you're putting your faith first, and make sure that you're putting your foundation in something that can't be moved. You know what I mean? Putting it in your faith and knowing that at the end of the day, if all this was gone, if everything was taken away, that you could still walk around happy.
Right. That's big right there. And you know, side note, I'm a karate chop Tiffany in the throat because she knows you're doing a podcast. And I don't know what she's doing over there.
She opening garages, closing garages.
What's she doing over there? But everyone, you know, this is my guy. Go follow him on Instagram. I don't know his name on Instagram.
It's Lionhearted_26.
Yeah, because he thinks he's a lion. Okay.
Lionhearted.
Lionhearted 26 something score. What'd you say?
_26. Yeah, Lionhearted_26. That's it.
Okay. Boom. And then do you have are you on LinkedIn or anything like that?
No.
Okay, well,
I'm working on my business profile right now.
Okay, we'll get them right. We'll get them right. But everyone, thank you for tuning in. You know, go like, go share, go subscribe. I really appreciate it. Man, be game time excellent, man. Game time excellence isn't just a day to perform, man. It's an everyday lifestyle. So be excellent. You know your mission, know your mindset, master the skills, and then take care of yourself, your maintenance. Y'all have a blessed day. T-Pat, thank you.
Peace. Thank you, bro.